NAMM 2024, there is a big red bus behind us, and I've seen this every time I go into the hall, and it's obviously Celestion UK. I said to Ken off camera, is there a sort of speaker for blues? Is there a speaker for metal? Is there genre-specific speakers, or is that a myth? And he went, is that right?
Yeah, so when we put the website together, we did talk about actually having like a little kind of category of like select your speaker by kind of music genre, which music genre you would like, and it caused so many fights in the office that we kind of gave up in the end, and we just knew if it causes that problems in the office, it's just going to be a massive problem out there. Exactly. So not really. There are kind of things that get used for different things, like, I mean, obviously things like the Vintage 30 are kind of classic rock, obviously. And then you've got things like the Blue, and some of the 𝗬𝗏𝗪𝗏 products, which tend to be better for like clean sounds, typically clean tones. So there's some stuff there, but not really that much. So, you know.
I like it.
It's like, you know, do you have ice creams for particular meals? You know, different flavors of ice creams for particular meals? It's like, well, not really. It's like, what do you prefer? What do you like?
You're talking my language now. I love applying real-world situations. I like to use pancakes and recipes and stuff for ice cream. That's perfect. Ice cream with a meal. That's coming back on the channel for sure.
But ice creams is a perfect example, guy, because there's like 15,000 different flavors of ice creams, and I might like chocolate and you might like strawberry. It doesn't mean you're wrong and I'm right. It's just how it is, right?
I do like strawberry, so I also like chocolate. I like them all. The speaker that I'm generally use for my videos is the Vintage V30.
Yeah.
I'm told, I experienced, and I'm told and read in forums that it's the most all-round. And what I want to do is experience a sound that will be in the middle ground, so that people, if they're using something else, will still, you know, be able to reference it. But my personal favorite speaker that you do is the greenback.
Okay.
And I have a Marshall Bluesbreaker from the 90s, and it's damn heavy, but it sounds so good, and the greenbacks in there are definitely contributing to that. And as we spoke off camera earlier, my good friend 𝗦𝗏𝗢𝗪 has battled on about how the speaker is the thing you should be paying attention to, and he and I, that's one of the few things we agree on. The other stuff he says, absolute rubbish. He doesn't know what he's talking about, but speakers, Glenn, yes. So how does Celestion put the right speaker in the right hands?
It's really about, it is about personal choice. So let's look at your example, right? You got greenbacks, you love greenbacks. The thing is heavy, right? You don't like that. So and the other issue with this greenback is it's relatively modest power handling by today's standards. So we made the creamback, right? Which actually sounds very similar. And there's an H magnet version, which has got a bit more, and there's an M magnet version which has got a bit more rolled off bass. The M magnet, there's an M magnet which is medium magnet and an H magnet which is heavy magnet. Right? Who knew that? The heavy magnet's got more control over what the cone does. So it's got more impact when it drives, and when it restrains the cone when it comes back, so it's got more impact. The medium magnet, it's got less impact, which means actually the bass is a little bit fuller. So it's actually got more bass with less magnet, but it's a bit fuller and a bit more rounded and a bit nicer. But for you, with your greenback issue and your heaviness, we have a neo creamback, which is a neodymium magnet. Now, because neodymium magnet's a really powerful magnet, historically that could have been an issue. And some of previous neo guitar speakers, you don't see many, right? Because they can take your head off. They can be a bit bright.
Brittle, right?
They can be a bit brittle because they've got really strong magnets. But what we've done is we've done all sorts of clever stuff with the magnetic circuit and how the steel controls the flux in the magnetic circuit to make something that actually sounds really good, but doesn't take your head off, but is really light.
I guess if you know it's bright, you're going to take your head off, you can adjust other things to control that.
You can to a certain extent, but you know, if you don't like strawberry ice cream, you're probably still not going to like strawberry ice cream. And historically, they have taken your head off. And even if you adjust the tone controls or whatever, it's still just taking your head off, but a bit quieter. So it's not.
Okay.
But actually, the Neo Creamback doesn't do that.
Thank you for correcting me. Again, I've only learned through doing and sadly through reading other people's experiences, which is not always correct. And Ken has corrected me off camera several times, and I've actually learned so much in talking to you in the less than 10 minutes I've been at this booth. I was just expecting to talk to some guy about speakers, but you've actually educated me, Ken. We are 100 years of Celestion. I had no idea you were so old. What have you done for your 100 years?
Oh, we have a certain big red bus, which was quite an issue to get in here, actually.
You drive that all the way from London?
No, not quite. This was used to be a tour bus from Hollywood, but it stopped being used as a tour bus because of all the emissions regulations in California. But we managed to track it down and rent it for the show. So,
those doors are like 2 meters high.
No, there's some bigger doors over there. There's a big kind of cargo doors.
I was expecting a big bus-shaped hole with Celestion written on it.
So, and we've had a couple of parties over the last week. So, which you didn't get invited to. How come you didn't get invited tonight? You should have told us. You should have been here a few days ago, and we'd have invited you. Right? That would have been no problem. But sorry, too late. Done now.
You say that now, Ken. You say that now. Yeah, it's easy to say it now.
The other thing we've done is we've got a whole load of really old Celestion speakers, as you might imagine, in our kind of history files. And we also went and raided Marshall's museum and nicked a whole load of stuff from them. And we took a whole load of speakers which are before the blue. And the blue is the kind of the initial holy grail, if you like. It's ground zero for guitar speakers. Before the greenback. So the greenback was actually a ceramic magnet version of the blue. That was its original intention. So this is pre the blue. So what we've done is we've taken all those things and we've checked out the tone of all those different examples we've got, and we've made this as a tribute to those. So this has got all sorts of clever stuff in it. So in terms of the way the voice coil works and the way the voice coil former works, and it has this Alnico magnet, which is the good old traditional magnet, which is a really kind of soft magnetic material compared to the ceramic and the ferrite. But it gives it a nice, warm, clean tone. So, and special new cone material, special new surround. It sounds awesome. So Marshall have made for us a 100 off, 100 limited edition only version of their amp over there. We've got with these in.
The JTM 20?
Yeah, and they're only doing 100 versions of these. Limited edition Celestion to celebrate our 100th anniversary. So,
I mean, I'll take it. Thank you very much.
I think they've already sold out, I'm afraid.
I haven't got even space for Marshall in my. I've got a lot of Marshall. Yeah, well, it's really interesting. You've got something out. Are these limited edition or are they available forever?
No, we're going to make these full on. So we've just I think finished the very first short production run in the UK already. So. They're ready to go. I think they'll be shipping in probably March time, so.
Lovely jubbly.
And it sounds yummy.
Great. Well, maybe you learned something. I certainly did. Maybe you learned that I'm an absolute idiot when it comes to guitar and don't know anything. And Ken is a guru, of course. And that buses can somehow squeeze into a door under 2 meters. I don't believe in there's a big door. I'm going to stay with my theory that he's a magician. There are links to all the stuff we talked about in the video description. There is a playlist from all my NAMM 2024 videos on the screen, and there's a subscribe button, which Ken is going to do after. I'm going to make sure he subscribes to the channel so he can see himself on there and show his family. Thank you, Ken. It's been a pleasure talking to you. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.